The American people see a border that looks to be chaotic.
We need them to pick the crops.
Food is not reaching our table.
Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the most complex and politically charged topics in American politics, immigration at the southern border. But we're not talking politics today, we're following the money. For decades, hundreds of thousands of people have crossed the U.S. Mexico border without authorization every year. This has persisted through multiple administrations, Republican and Democrat alike. The question we're asking today isn't about politics or policy solutions. It's simpler and more direct. Who profits? Because here's the thing, if there wasn't money to be made, would this system look the way it does? Let's examine the economic forces and financial interests that shape America's immigration reality.
China? China? ¿Dónde vienes? Ecuador.
The scope of the issue. First, let's establish the scale. U.S. Customs and Border Protection reports that in fiscal year 2023, there were over 2.4 million encounters at the southwest border. That's not just a number, that's millions of people moving through a system that involves transportation, housing, legal processes, and labor. This isn't new. Immigration across the southern border has been a constant for generations. It continued under Reagan, Bush Sr., Clinton, Bush Jr., Obama, Trump, and Biden. The numbers fluctuate, but the flow never stops.
We have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
Now, the United States has demonstrated remarkable capability when it wants to control something. We've projected military power across the globe, implemented complex sanctions regimes, and built sophisticated surveillance networks. The question becomes, if the political will truly existed to completely stop unauthorized border crossings, could it be done? Many experts believe the answer is yes, but at what cost? And who would lose money if it happened? The detention industry. Let's start with the most obvious profit center, detention. Immigration detention is big business. Private companies like GEO Group and CoreCivic operate detention facilities under contracts with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. These companies are publicly traded, meaning they answer to shareholders who expect profits. GEO Group, for instance, has reported billions in revenue, with a significant portion coming from immigration detention contracts. Their business model depends on occupancy. Empty beds don't generate revenue. And the Department of Homeland Security has guaranteed minimum occupancy rates in many contracts, essentially promising these companies a certain number of detainees. This creates a perverse incentive. The more people detained, the more money these companies make. But it's not just the big corporations. Local communities sometimes benefit too. Detention facilities provide jobs in rural areas where employment options may be limited. Guards, administrative staff, food service workers, medical personnel, entire local economies can become dependent on these facilities. The legal industry. Then there's the legal industry. Immigration law is complex and navigating it requires expertise. This has created a massive market for immigration attorneys, translators, and legal services. And the immigration court system handles hundreds of thousands of cases annually. Each case represents potential revenue for lawyers, whether they're representing immigrants, employers, or even the government itself. Law firms specializing in immigration can charge substantial fees, and the demand never seems to decrease. Even government attorneys benefit. The Department of Justice employs thousands of immigration judges and prosecutors. The larger the caseload, the more positions needed, the bigger the budget required. Document preparation services, translation services, and legal aid organizations also form part of this ecosystem. While many provide genuine help, the sheer volume of cases creates a steady stream of revenue across the legal sector. The employment ecosystem. Perhaps the biggest economic factor is employment. Industries across America have become dependent on immigrant labor, including those without legal authorization to work. Agriculture is the most visible example. The American Farm Bureau estimates that about half of agricultural workers lack legal work authorization. These workers often accept lower wages and working conditions that might not attract other workers. For farm owners, this represents significant cost savings. Construction, hospitality, food service, and domestic work also employ significant numbers of undocumented workers. The construction industry in particular has been estimated to employ over 1 million undocumented workers. Here's where it gets complicated. Employers benefit from lower labor costs, but they also risk legal penalties. However, enforcement has been inconsistent. When IC conducts workplace raids, they typically arrest workers, not employers. The employers often pay fines, essentially a cost of doing business, and continue operating. This creates a system where employers get the benefit of lower wages while workers bear the risk of deportation. The economic incentive structure encourages this continuation. The smuggling economy. On the illegal side, human smuggling has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. Criminal organizations, including Mexican cartels, profit enormously from moving people across the border.
Did you have to pay a cartel?
Yes,
How much?
around 10,000.
The stricter border security becomes, the more valuable smuggling services become. Its basic economics increase the difficulty and risk, and the price goes up. Some migrants pay thousands of dollars for smuggling services, and this creates a perverse incentive. Tighter border security can actually increase profits for criminal organizations. They adapt, find new routes, and charge higher prices. The money flowing to these organizations can fund other criminal activities, creating a cycle that's difficult to break. The irony is that some of the same policies intended to stop immigration may actually be enriching the criminal organizations that facilitate it. The government apparatus. The U.S. government itself has become a major player in the immigration economy. The Department of Homeland Security's budget for immigration enforcement runs into the billions annually. Border Patrol employs over 20,000 agents. IC has a budget of over $8 billion. The immigration court system, detention facilities, and deportation operations all require massive government spending. This spending supports not just government employees, but also contractors, consultants, and technology companies that provide services to immigration agencies. Companies that make border surveillance equipment, vehicles, detention facility supplies, and transportation services all benefit from continued immigration enforcement spending. Interestingly, this means that complete success in stopping immigration could potentially put thousands of people out of work and eliminate billions in government contracts. The system has created its own constituency with an economic interest in its continuation. International comparisons. You mentioned America's military capabilities, and that's worth examining. The U.S. has conducted military operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, and other countries. We've implemented sanctions against Iran, Russia, and North Korea. We've projected power across the globe when we've decided it's necessary. The military budget is over $800 billion annually. We've demonstrated the ability to locate and eliminate specific individuals anywhere in the world. We have satellite surveillance, drone capabilities, and intelligence networks that span the globe. This raises the question, if the United States truly wanted to stop immigration at the southern border, could it? Many experts believe the answer is yes, but it would require resources, political will, and potentially accepting economic consequences that various interests aren't willing to bear. So who profits from immigration? The answer is a lot of people and institutions, private detention companies, legal services, employers seeking lower labor costs, criminal smuggling organizations, and even government agencies and contractors. This doesn't mean immigration is good or bad. That's a separate discussion. But it does mean that the current system serves various economic interests, which might explain why it persists despite decades of political promises to solve it. Understanding these economic forces is crucial for anyone trying to understand why immigration policy is so difficult to change. Follow the money, and you'll often find the answer to why systems persist even when they seem broken. What do you think? Are there other economic factors we should have covered? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the economics behind major issues.